Hi, this is Craig, and in this video we're going to learn how to edit bass guitar, and we're going to do it on Kenny's song. Let's do it. Hi, this is Craig from Craig Colley Music. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And we're going to continue on with another part, episode, chapter, whatever you like to call it, working on a song from start to finish. This song is called Kenny's Song, and if it's the first video you've seen in this series, definitely want to go back and look at the previous parts because a lot of it's going to make more sense if you do that first before you watch on this one. So continuing on, assuming that you've seen the other videos, we're going to pick up where we left off. So the last part we did was recording the bass guitar track, learning how to record bass guitar, which we've done. We laid the tracks down. Now we're going to take those parts and we're going to edit them. So we're going to jump right over to the screen and get started here. And I'm going to place myself down in the corner here so I can keep you company, put my glasses on so I can see. First, I'm going to cover a little bit of what you're seeing on the screen. Once again, this is the DAW, which is the Digital Audio Workstation. This is Mark of the Unicorn Digital Performer. This is DP10, the latest version. And what you're seeing here is a list of all of the instruments and how I have it laid out here in a sequence. Very important to stay organized, no doubt about it. I always start with a very well-constructed template that makes it much easier to record tracks as I go through it. For instance, if I go to the vocals folder here, here's where I lay out my vocals in, and you can see they're all organized. Makes it so much easier if it's organized and you use the same template every time, and you also use colors to identify where you are. So this is our overview of what we have recorded thus far. Initially recorded a digital piano part along with a reference drum part that we used for the click or the tempo reference in the song. Next, we laid down a grand piano part in 3 tracks. So these tracks here are our piano tracks, 3 separate tracks from the recording that we did previous. And then down here is our bass track that we just recorded, that I just recorded. I keep saying we, I don't know why. It's once again the voices in my head, like I said. So we'll go to the sequence window here. And this is a closer view of the piano part, and this is our bass part. So what we're going to focus on today is fixing these edits. Now, once again, if you are watching this video the first time on my channel, you definitely want to go back and watch the parts previous to this. It will make a lot more sense. But if you just want to start from here, that's fine too, because what we're doing, we're building a song from scratch. Start with the piano part, adding bass, then drums, guitars, and we're going to build it out as we go. A song called Kenny's Song. So this started out with a grand piano at the intro. Now we got a drum reference track clicking away there. I'm going to turn that off for a moment because this is more like what will sound like. Then I'm going to have the bass come in here. I'm not sure if we're going to use it or not. These are the notes. Now the part coming up is where the drums are going to come in. So I'm going to turn the drum reference track on at that same point. Kind of get an idea of what's coming. So far the song's going well. Our first edit's coming up here. So you hear a click where I punched in. Now punching in once again is where I had recorded the track in its entirety, then came back and fixed a few places or changed a few things I didn't like the first time around. So I can take this tool here and I can move this to a better spot for the punch so there's not any noise or noticing the difference in the track. What's really important is when you're recording that you play consistently. Nothing more important than rehearsing a lot before you ever start these things. So you do this thing the same way. So when you do these punches, they don't sound different, and you play very consistently. Even though I played this through for the first time, in my head I had played it over and over and over again. So I knew what I was going to do before I played it. I'm not the kind of guy who uses a bunch of music, or any music really. Everything's in my head. The only thing I really use periodically are these reference points in the track that give me a bearing of where I am in the song, especially when something repeats a lot and doesn't have a vocal reference. And there's no real change because everything is just in its infant stages without the instrumentation added yet. So let's check this first punch and see how it sounds. It's good. It came out there, so I'm assuming that right around here will work. And then I put this little crossfade here. It looks like there's a little pickup there. Let me see what that is. Something I played into that note. So I'm going to back up here to another space. Makes it easy on instruments like bass because there's a lot of space, and that's kind of connected to. Let me go back here. I actually don't remember exactly what I fixed, but let's see what that sounds like. Play my cross filter. Back up again. Perfect. And we listen on. One thing I want to note, you may notice that the drum track has some things that are not spot on, and that's okay. It's just a reference track. It's going to all be replaced. It does throw it off a little bit, but most of the time I just ignore that. It's only there for a reference to keep in time, so all the tracks stay together as you're building the whole instrumentation. All the instrumentation. One thing to point out there's a little bit of a break there on the piano. Important that you remember to match things like that on the other instruments. You can see it, but you can also hear it, and that's the most important part, obviously. And that's where it would be a big hit when the drum's there too. So once again, I know that's all coming. I'm getting excited. In my head, I'm already playing the drums on this. There it is there. Let's move over here and see if that works. Might be tight, but we'll see. There we go. Nice. Now, I mentioned that in the last video, that little part there, that bloop, 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 bloop. I may keep that, I may not, but what I wanted to show you, since I'm on this subject here, as you can see that in these markers over in this section here, I'm going to zoom into that and make that a little bigger if I can. This marker section here indicates where you are in the piece, the verse, and this is a, I guess this doesn't really have a hook to it, like a traditional song would have. I would just call them different sections of the song. A verse part, this is the C minor part, and then a turnaround to second verse and so on. But the C minor part, C minor 2, C minor 3, that section repeats 3 times in the song. So if I wanted to take a section from another C minor part and insert that in place of the C minor part, let's say that, let me myself a little clearer here, that here I'm in C minor 3 part here, and I could take a section from C minor 2, as long as I did this correctly. I could copy this section here and just bring it over and place it exactly in the same spot with time code right over here, so that I could replace that whole section. I'm not doing that now, but I know that's possible. And right now with that little part that I had in there, I like it, but I may not like it later. So I'm going to leave it for now because I know I can replace it. I don't have to get the bass back out and set everything up and play it again. So that was a little side note there. That's actually the part. Now I remember this next part from the recording that I had to go back and several things had to be replaced. So in front of that, I know that it wasn't all these spots that were messed up to start with, so I'm going to put some edits in here just to clean it up before I get there, and maybe these will work. Let's see if this sounds like. That one. Can't even tell. That's what's so amazing about this. Now you can see I was slightly in the back of that beat there. We'll put it right on the downbeat and put a little crossfade there. Because it's important those hits are right on that bam, 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 because those are going to hit hard with all the other instruments, particularly the drums, and give this thing the real punch that it's going to deserve. Don't know what that means. But that's what it feels like to me. Another example of there's a little bit of a break. Make sure that all the instruments are doing the same thing. There's a little, check that one there. Couldn't hear it, but I always want to put a crossfade on if I can, just to make sure there's no pop or anything. It just comes out of nowhere. And once you get a lot of tracks going, it's hard to find them later. So it's just safer to put a crossfade on everything, even if the punch is clean. Okay, so I know this one. Now I'm remembering it. I only needed the beginning of it, so I'm going to take this one back. I'm going to try there, because that didn't work out cleanly enough out of that, and that's different, so I got to keep going. Timing's a little different. Let's try this one. Timing's different there too, so I'm going to have to go all the way back and start from that part, because all I really needed was the pickup at the beginning of it. So listen from here. I'm also going to turn off the reference track because that throws you off, because that kick was not in time. Now, I may not even use the bass there as well, so I'm not too concerned about it right now. And I know I've got other options if I choose to use them. I'm not sure that timing in that I'm happy with 100%, but let's listen again. It sounds like it's a little ahead. So let's say that it is a little ahead. Let's show you I'll show you what I'll do with that. I'll take that, I'll just slide this back a little bit and put my crossfade there and line it up a bit better. Now it's pretty much spot on. I think you can use it that way. Yeah. Okay, so now the last part we're going to do is the retard at the end here. The piano does the slowdown part, and now I'm going to match the bass to it to make it nice and squeaky tight. So I double click in this and I move a little bit like that and I cut it. Now I can take this whole track and shift it just slightly. Even though there's a little gap there, you never really hear it because it's just going by too fast. Okay, that one's a little behind, so once again I cut it there and I pull the track up a little bit, match it. And sometimes the way the instruments play is a little different from instrument to instrument, so there's a little give and take. That's a little ahead. This is the trickier part because if there's a gap there, too long of a gap, then sometimes you could hear it. So I may have to actually move the piano part potentially. We'll see. I think I can live with that because there's going to be cymbals and other instruments. It won't be that obvious. I'll put a little bit of a curve there and there, a little fade in and out so you don't hear any click. And as far as where it actually hits is maybe slightly later. And that'll be sorted out later. I know I can move that around and adjust it. I'm not 100% sure or happy with that right now, but it will work for now. And like I said, once again, there's going to be other things happening at the same time, so it's not that crucial. One other thing I do want to do here, even though there's a split, that's still going in really, really tight into the track. You can see the waveforms themselves. Kind of looks like my logo here. Where's my logo? I think you can't see it in this shot. But that's actually what I based my logo on. It looks kind of like a waveform when you really go in deep. All right, so let's listen again. So that last note I'm going to have to work with once I get other instruments. I want to hear that once more. Still sounds like it's early. I'm going to go a little farther back. Now the piano is rolling in arpeggio, so the bass is not doing that. So we'll have to see what I'll do with that as this thing rolls out. And once again, like I said, because of all the other instruments that are there, not a problem right now. The other thing to keep in mind is let these things ring. Let them ring. Don't cut them off. Let them go as long as you can, and then you have a nice long fade away, fade out, and you don't have any noise or clicks or taps or anything that you don't want in the mix later that you might have to fix. So just give it space. Be dead quiet while it's ringing. Pretend you're doing the ending of Day in the Life with the Beatles, and you got to hold it for 45 seconds. Don't make a sound. It worked pretty well for them. And you can hear me say all right on the grand piano track there, which I would take that out, obviously. All right, so we got it. So that is our bass track all edited, ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is replace this reference drum track with real digital drums, playing samples that are sound like real drums because they were sampled from real drums. We're just triggering them from a different source. I love it because you can do so many things that you couldn't do. And I'm a okay drummer, but when I'm going to show you what I can do with the computer, I can be a great drummer. So, and my recordings reflect that because I know how to take what I could do naturally and then enhance that with the computer. So I want to say thank you for watching this episode. We got the bass part done. Now the next part coming is how to record a drum track, which is coming in the next part of Kenny's song. So we're wrapping up here. thank you for watching. If you're visiting again, please subscribe if you haven't done so thus far. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my first goal with my channel here. We started out with very few, as all channels do, but just like so many others that started in their garages, we're working our way up to the auditorium. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section. And the next video coming, like I said, will be about the drums. If you are interested at all in having some one-on-one consultation, I do that as well to help speed things along. There's a lot of technology that goes into not only the music, not only the writing, but the actual production of it, the setup in the studio here, how I do the grand piano recording, how I'm doing this recording, how I set up a small studio in a small space to produce the results of this. Now, ultimately, the thing that really interests me the most about doing this is creating a feeling that is somehow communicates with you and others the end product of the song. Because for me, music is just an expression of a feeling. And if that doesn't exist, all this technology doesn't make any difference at all. So we use the technology to get us there to communicate that message that we're trying to do through the music. And there's nothing more powerful than the message of music. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Craig from Craig Colley Music signing off. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Talk to you then. Have a great day or night or wherever you are. Signing off. We're signing off. We're done. I'm turning it off. Okay.